Hey guys, hope you're doing amazing tonight. I've got a cool little thing. I don't know if it's scrolling down at the bottom yet. Hopefully it will scroll, but my friends over at Barton's Big Country over in Grand Prairie, Alberta, gave me a discount code to give to our Canadian viewers. Now, the cool thing is with this discount code, you can get 20% off any knife you purchase from them until the end of December this year. So it's quite a cool offer. The discount code is THORhaven, all in capital letters. So if you want to check out some of the knives they offer, it's bartonsbigcountry.ca. And I believe I left a link in the description down there as well. I don't know if you can see it now, or when the video stops, you can go check it out as well. So we can go through a couple things. First, I want to say hi to Kim Patton Family Compound. Not sure if you're still here or not. Rem's Family Farm. Hope you're doing awesome. Wickershire Project. Dave Knight. Tracy T. Hand 141. Awesome. Glad you guys can make it. Need to be on your community redirect list to send people. Oh, that's cool. We'll see if we can set that up going forward to make sure, we all kind of forward each other to each other's lives and that sort of thing. So that would be sweet. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Yeah, so I was working on, there's my Plowman's Backyard mug. Very cool. If you guys need some gardening advice, homesteading advice, another great channel to check out too. Plus all the channels that are in here as well. You guys rock. So yeah, I was going to go through some gear tonight. I wanted to do, I've been working on part 2 of my get home bag, and I was trying to get it finished up before this live, but I don't have it edited fully yet. So it's still in the works, and I have gear everywhere here in my office now. So I even grabbed gear that I don't normally put in my get home bag, but sometimes I'll carry in the truck depending on what I'm doing, or if I take it out camping or hiking or that kind of thing. Freezing up here. Behave. So yeah, I brought all the gear up to kind of show off, and kind of wanted to get your guys' feedback too on what gear you guys like, what kit you guys like. If there's anything that is very cool out there that would come in handy for anyone who wants to throw in their get home bag or a bug out bag, or put in their vehicle, that sort of thing. So yeah, just pipe up any gear you like, or any suggestions you have for anybody who's listening or watching or going to see the rerun, that kind of thing. Hey, CR, hope you're doing amazing. Another great channel there. You guys are awesome. I love this. Okay. So I don't think the banner is working. It is supposed to. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Nice. There we go. Now it's going. John, good to see you. Glad you could join us as well. Don't know what's going on with my camera. Actually, you know what? I'll turn the light up, make it a little brighter, and then it should be okay. Because my camera will freeze up sometimes when it doesn't see movement or something. It's weird. So, yeah, so the camera will freeze up, but I think if there's enough light, it'll be okay. So yeah, it's going awesome tonight, John. Hope you're doing well too. Hope everybody was able to dig out of the snow. I don't think you guys had much over in Ontario. I don't know how much was down in the US for you guys, or the guys out west, but here we got, I want to say it was 14, 15 inches of snow. So it was pretty deep. Normally it takes me 45 minutes to snow blow the driveway, and yesterday it took me about 2 hours to do. So it was kind of crazy. So I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna order a small solo type stove that fits in your pots. The ones I like, the ones I have, there's a lot of good ones out there. There's a few bad. One of the ones I use is Primus, and that's kind of my kit there that I keep in the truck. So it has the lid that goes on the pot. I keep my little burner, my little stove in there as well. I keep a gas canister in there as well. A little plastic bowl. My pot that goes onto the stove. And then the little windscreen that fits on it as well. So that's the ETA Express. It's pretty cool because it's got the bottom there with the fins. So not only does it help block the wind too, but it allows it to heat up a little faster. And this stove basically screws into the top of the gas canister, like so. You spread out the arms, and then the windscreen just fits on there like so. And then you can put your pot on the top. So the nice thing with this one that I really like is the windscreen that fits on. So you don't always need to use it. But with this little stove, it's got this little thing here. So that's your little sparker. So instead of taking a lighter to try and light your stove, once you screw this in, turn your gas on, you can use your sparker to light the stove, which makes it really handy if you don't have your lighter handy or matches handy. So if you're looking for a stove, something, make sure it's got that built-in igniter. It's really handy to have. Oh, minus 31. That's brutal. I hate that cold weather. I don't mind if it gets down to minus 20 or so, but when it gets down to minus 30, it hurts. All right. So yeah, that's the kind of kit for, and that's big enough too. So you can do soups, stews, whatever you're carrying with you. That'll handle a lot of the, I want to say IMPs, but any of the, trying to think of the name. They're the like the instant meal. You add water to it. Backpacker's Pantry is the one that I usually buy. So it fits a lot of those, or at least half of that in some cases. So it makes it very nice to use and heat up some meals. Can heat up some tea, can heat up some water for coffee. It's always handy. Yeah, there are, yep. So we had the ones like in the reserves, we got the ones where it was, you put your IMP in the bag and it basically heats it up in there. It's nice, but then you're kind of juggling it around as you're trying to eat it too when you want to keep it hot. But they do come in handy. Yeah, that's just it. It minus 31 kind of cuts right through you. So yeah, I see the banner scrolling now. So any of our Canadian viewers can go to Barton's on the website, order any knife you want and get 20% off. So with that, go into a couple of knives that I really like. This one is a Condor Dragon knife. So that one is high carbon steel as well. It's shaped nicely, so there's no problem skinning or dressing animals with that. Full tang. so I don't have to worry about breaking it. It's very nice to use. Hand feels good in the hand. Ah! So if you have the fire starter like this one comes with a striker, but that's the Ultimate Survival Technologies Strike Force. So it has the striker built in, the flint, the magnesium built in the back as well. It has a little storage for tinder, but these work well together. So you're able to start a fire with those if that's not working. However, that is almost always working. So yeah, that's a neat little piece of kit that I usually carry around all the time with me. That's kind of my new favorite knife to carry all the time. And that one's from Condor Knife and Tool. They're in El Salvador, and they make some really quality stuff. All of it's high carbon steel for the most part. Some of it's D2 tool steel. And it is made to be used. Extremely tough, and everything comes sharp. Even the swords. So if you buy one of those swords, they are sharp. I want to say battle ready. You can use them right away. They aren't like a wall hanger, even though I've got mine hanging on the wall. But they're not a decorative sword. They can be used. How did we get the trailer made? That was, I'm trying to remember their name. The description is on that commercial, Phil, of the gentleman who made the commercial for us, the trailer. And he is down in the States. He does that for a living, is editing and video work and that kind of stuff. Sparking my interest. Yes, exactly. So another cool knife that Condor has too. I grabbed this from work today. I want to grab one of these. It's very similar to the Mora knives, but rubber handle, a nice blade on it. Again, high carbon steel. It's got your little steel at the back if you want to bash some stuff. But really nice again in the hand. You can hold on tight to it. You don't have to worry about it slip in. Comes extremely sharp. This one has been used quite a bit by everybody at work. You can see it's not exactly well taken care of. Guys have been using this for camping, for hunting, for throwing. We've been beating this knife, I think, probably for about 1.5 years now. And it's got a little wear and tear in it, but it also hasn't had any love given to it. So it needs a bit of TLC. Life in the Valley, good to see you. Glad you could join us. Yes, he did a great job on that commercial. We were so amazed at what he provided us. We just loved it. So hope all is well there as well. Hope you're doing great tonight. So good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Another Condor knife that I want to show you that's pretty cool. I almost bought one of these, but we bought the swords. So we've got 2 of these. And, I kind of felt like I was spending all my budget on toys. So, and the nice thing with all the Condor stuff is they come with amazing sheaths. They all come with either leather sheaths or like this one with the, I want to say it's a hard plastic sheath. My dragon knife came with another nice leather sheath. But this one, they make, again, some awesome machetes. So it's got some knot work on the blade. There we go. But this one, again, has been used and abused by everybody at work. How we've been throwing it. We've been bashing stuff. Our goal was, we got a whole bunch of demos and stuff at work. These are some of them. So we wanted to really test them out and make sure they really stood up to our abuse. And they do. And we are I'm impressed. I think everyone else is, but I kind of freak out about stuff like this. We've got other guys at work that are knife guys. They like knives, but I like that kind of stuff. And I don't know. Can you see the axe? Yeah, there's the axes up top on the wall here. So those are two of my throwing ones. Again, they're Condor as well. So I'm pretty sure Barton's does carry them down here if you want to use that discount code. What else have I got? Speaking of fire, Esbit. One of the little stoves they make, which is pretty cool. So this thing is extremely lightweight. It's got opening in the bottom for airflow, and you can pop it open so then it stands up. You can put your little stainless steel cup on top, and you can heat up a tea, melt some snow, and they use these little fire starters. So you can use one of them, stick it in the middle there, and heat up your tea, heat up some water, make some coffee. And the nice thing is it stores 4 of them. So if you want to use one for making like a bigger fire, you can use that. You've got, or just save it and you have 4 of them to make fire for a week or whatever, camping. So that's fits basically in any pocket, any pack. So it's a nice little stove to have if you want to go extremely minimal. Yes, love axes too. Yep. Ontario Knife, yeah, they make a good one. And but yeah, I think they're out of business now. So I think they actually closed down completely. I don't know if they might still be in business, but I think they're done. They closed up shop. So definitely make coffee. Celtic knot. Yeah. Yeah, that I forget which knots are which, but see if it'll. Yeah, it's not going to focus. Oh, we had it there for a sec. Yeah. They make some big machetes too, like 2-handed ones, and they're just wild. And then they do the swords, they do axes, throwing stuff. Sailor's knot. Okay, nice. Yeah, exactly. Get some warm tea, warm coffee, warm soup into you, warm broth. It's always nice to have on those cold days when you're out camping. Yeah, I've got just a ton of gear here. Got like my hammock here, one of my sleeping bags, some gear that is like pretty neat. Sleeping pads, survival gear, flashlights, my night vision, all kinds of good stuff. So I don't know what else can show you. I could go through everything, but what piques your guys' interest? What would you like to see? Would you like to see some of the military stuff or the survival stuff? Med stuff too. Oh, that reminds me. I've got a medical discount coming as well for another one of my friends, their company. So they've given discount on some medical supplies and a huge discount on training. So if you actually want advanced training, these guys supply it. They were all ex-military. They basically wrote the book on Canadian TCCC. So these guys, they know their stuff. So I'll gonna do kind of a little video on med supplies, and in the description as well as the video itself, I'll throw up the discount code for those guys, and everyone will be able to take advantage of that. All of it, do a show and tell, all of it, survival. Let's see, what have we got? Okay. These are actually, I really like them. Some people might laugh in that, but it's Bear Grylls, and these are ponchos. But the ponchos are actually really good and really handy. So you can use them as a poncho to keep the rain off. There's 2 of them in there. So I vacuum sealed that bag. So there's 2 packs. But you can use that as a poncho, keep the rain off. You can use it as a ground sheet. You can use it as a water collection. So I always throw that in my truck, and always throw it in my get home bag because they're just handy to have. Help keep you dry, or collect the water if you need to, or say you're sleeping and you want to put an extra ground sheet down to protect your sleeping bag or bivy bag and that from the water. You can throw it down there. You can put your sleeping bag into it as well to help keep your sleeping bag dry. So it comes in handy. No, I was having trouble in the summer because, out gardening, out doing stuff with the cows and that. And then you get bugs in your hair and pine needles and sap. And it was just like, I got to the point where it's hot out and I'm trying to get sap out of my hair, and there's bugs in my hair and dirt and all that. So I'm just like, I'm going to cut it off again. It's still a bit long on top, and it's starting to grow out. But I wanted to go through one summer without the really long hair. So I took it off for the summer, and now it's grown back. Yeah, exactly. Anything that's multi-purpose can be used for different stuff is always handy. Yeah, staying dry is critical, especially if you're out for long periods. We had, when I was doing I think it was my BMQ in the reserves, we finished off our training with 1 week in the field. So you go out to the field for basically 1 week, and we started digging trenches for our position. And I think around noon on the Monday, it started pouring, and it didn't stop raining till I think it was about Thursday night or Friday morning. So everything was soaked. Like, we had good rain gear. It didn't matter. The trenches were filled up with water. The one night, I think it was like the second night or something, I came off of OP. I'm going up over the hill on our position and going down into where we've got all our tents and stuff. And I'm walking up and I'm noticing that my sleeping bag, my air mattress, and everything is floating out of my shelter and floating down through the woods. So that's kind of how wet it was. So we basically slept in the water for a week. And then the sun came out on the Friday and we started cooking. Like, it was so hot and all our gear was soaking wet, and we were marching over to a FIBWA site, and it was just brutal because we started getting rashes, and it was just not good. Yeah, having options are always good. Yeah, I've got I want to say like six or eight different survival Mylar blankets. I've got one out in the truck. It's not here, but it's actually a bag. So it's a survival bag. So you can get right in it like a sleeping bag. So that's a nice, it stays in the truck just in case the truck goes off the road or something like that. We can use it as a last resort to snuggle up in and try and stay warm. Yeah, I'd like to put, I don't have any garbage bags in my kit. I do have this plastic. So it's a big, thin plastic tarp. I keep that, and then the ponchos as well, I keep, but I don't have any big plastic garbage bag. We usually carried one with when we were in the reserves and that, and I don't think I ever used it. So I found that more often than not, the poncho would come in handy, that sort of thing. So, but I'll probably stick a bag in next time I buy some garbage bags, like the heavy duty contractor type. You're right. I might stick some in my kit. Wind and wet sucks. Yes, it does for getting cold. And then if you are wet and you start hiking, marching, rucking, and the sun comes out and heats you up, you're starting to get rashes and stuff right away. Hello, glad you could join us. Welcome. Hope you're doing awesome tonight. Yep. So like the poncho, you can use as a bivvy as well if you want. There's obviously the armholes and the hood, so it's not perfectly waterproof, but if you're sticking it over your sleeping bag as kind of a last resort to help keep you dry, it'll help make a difference anyway. Nice. They're always good to have. The one that I like too, a little more than that, is this guy right here. Ultimate Survival Technology. Ultimate Survival Technologies. It's a tube tarp. So this here, the exterior is orange, same color. The interior is the reflective. So you can set it up as a shelter, as a tent. You can kind of wrap yourself up in it. You can use it as a reflective signaling device. So I always carry that everywhere. It's so nice to have as a very quick shelter because I can string paracord between two trees, and that goes right over top and creates your own little tent shelter almost instantly. Trying to think what else here. I almost knocked over the light and stuff. Yeah, so there's one of the little survival blankets. They're nice to have. However, they're not that durable. So having lots of them is good because I'll usually rip them. So having some duct tape or something too to fix them up is good. I usually carry a bunch with me just in case because they are a little delicate, I would say. Oh, what a purification. Okay, on that subject, I do carry, where is it? Right there. So this one here is a straw. Wait a second. Oh, no, it fell out. That's why. So it's Frontier Pro. So this one is basically just a filter straw. So you can kneel down at a stream or lay down at a stream and be able to drink just using that like a straw. So I do carry that. However, my go-to is this guy right here. This is the Grail. It's the Marshmallow Man. Good to see you. Hope you're doing awesome. I've got my hammer, not my red cape. South Florida, DCL. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well tonight too. So, yeah, my water filter of choice is the Grail. This thing, I've bet my life on actually. I used it the once. Well, I've used it more than once, but the one time that I really put it to the test is I did a week-long kayak trip. So I went from Kingston, Ontario up to Ottawa to the locks beside the Parliament building. And we went through some water that was stagnant. We went through some muddy water. We went through water that power boats and jet skis were doodling around on. So I've kind of put every type of water through this and had no problems whatsoever. This is an old version of the Grail. They have newer versions on the website. The reason I have this still is because I have a few extra filters. When I bought these, I've got 2 of them. So when I bought them, I actually bought a whole ton of extra filters because I hate when you buy gear and then within a year or 2 that gear changes and then you either have to replace your gear or try and scrounge for extra stuff. So the way this works is you can pull it apart. On the top, it has the opening here. So there's a little air valve. Let's see if I can, yeah. So there's a little air valve right there. And when you open the handle and that locks into place and you have your drinking spout there, that pushes down on the little air valve and allows airflow. So you're not creating a vacuum when you try and drink. So you use that, scoop up the water you want. And the reason I like this too is if you're scooping up really muddy water, you can actually just set it down and let the mud and silt and stuff settle to the bottom. Then you take your filter, drop it in, and push it down, and you filtered water into the inside of it. So if you're filtering muddy water, you can let the silt settle, push it down, not all the way, but a bit of the way, take it out, get rid of the mud, and scoop up some more water if you want. And then that top comes off. So if you want to pour it out fast into an Nalgene bottle or clean it out or something like that, it's really nice. Belt Loop 29, good to see you. Hope you're doing awesome tonight. Looks like I missed a few comments. Gonna skip back up here for a sec. Ferro rod. So anything really big and thick. I've had a few of the ones that, you know, you buy and they're kind of like pencil thin. I've broken them many times because I start going, I'll scratch the surface, get the coating off, and then start striking it, and I have broken them. So that really bugs me. So if you can find one that's thick, I was showing this earlier. This is the Strike Force from Ultimate Survival Technologies. So it has a really substantial piece on it that you cannot break. And this one comes with the striker as well. But you can also use this. Where'd my other knife go? It was here somewhere. Who took my knife? But yeah, you can use this one with your knife, and I don't have to worry about breaking that. So if you can find any of these, usually they'll come in like a big bar and they're really thick, and just get that by itself. And then as long as you have a high carbon steel knife with you, you're all good. Okay. I'm trying to think which one that is. Not sure offhand. Yeah, the Kingston, Ontario to Ottawa is quite a trip if you're going up the Rideau by kayak. So I was in a kayak. We had another friend who is on his paddleboard. Or sorry, there's two of us in kayak, one on paddleboard. I was thinking it was one paddleboard, one canoe, one kayak, but no, it was two of us in the kayaks, and then one on a paddleboard. And he did the entire trip on the paddleboard, and it was quite something. He had we got part way though, and he had to switch some of his gear to our kayaks, just because the paddleboard was so heavy with him and his gear on it that he was always nosing down into the water, and he wasn't making any speed whatsoever. So we would kind of had to paddle slow in our kayaks, and it was no fun. So we transferred gear over to us, and then it was okay. We were able to get going. Skipping down here. Homestead in the Wood with Thee. Good to see you. Glad you could join us. As I mentioned before, if anyone is Canadian, you can check out the banner below. It's also in the description of this live. My good friends over at Barton's Big Country in Grand Prairie, Alberta, just gave me a discount code right there, THORhaven, all in capital letters. So if you use that discount code on their website, you can get 20% off any knife purchase till December 24th. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so new people coming in. Hope everyone is doing awesome tonight. Yes, yeah, so that one I really like. Like I said, I bought some of the other ones before where they're very thin, and I just don't like them. I've broken too many to like them. I just go with the big one now. So passive solar greenhouse, yeah. No, we haven't done one lately on the greenhouse. Yeah, you can ask me a question about it. We've closed it up now. We get to a certain point where it just doesn't heat up enough, and it cools down too much in the evening. So we could probably still do like lettuce and that kind of stuff in there, some of the cold crops, but usually what's in there for us is tomatoes, cayenne. I've done some tobacco in there, the peppers. So everything for us that we usually do is very hot weather stuff. So it helps extend our growing season. But I think if we actually transferred some stuff in there, like lettuce and some of the cold crops, they might still do okay. Our big problem right now is also watering it. So we already have enough problem trying to water the cows, fill up their water trough. So we don't want to be dragging a hose over to the greenhouse or filling up water and taking it back and forth. So yes, it is still effective. We love using it. I think we've got cayenne pepper now for the next 2 years, maybe 3. It grew amazing in there. So I really stocked up on cayenne peppers. It gave us quite a few of the Amish paste tomatoes. Tobacco seeds, we did one plant of tobacco, and I was able to harvest a ton of leaves from it. And we've got, I want to say it's like a pound of seeds now. It's insane how many seeds we got from that. It just kept going and going. So it's been very good for us. We haven't considered that. The walls, the sides and back are insulated. Then the front, as you've seen, is windows, and then we've got the plastic. So I could probably stick more straw around to insulate it, but the big issue is that plastic on the 45, and that's where the heat is escaping. So I've thought about getting eventually doing almost like a thermal blanket that I could possibly roll down in the winter at night. but I haven't got to that point yet. So we'll see where I get to with that. It's I haven't even tried it yet. It's been drying, aging. I'll have to actually check it. I had it in the humidor for my cigars, and I was going to try and actually roll one of my own cigars with it. I've been watching a couple videos on it. So I actually have to check, make sure it's still okay. I haven't done that. Yes, we've got one of the rain barrels is in there, and we were filling that up. However, at some point, I think it was like 2 years ago, a year ago or 2 years ago, it started freezing, and we didn't want it busting the rain barrel. So we just kind of left that empty. And I think if we get more of them in there, it will work better. And if we are able to somehow insulate the plastic on the 45, then that'll help retain that heat at night and not let it drop down so much. Yes, that is almost like our priority next year. The first thing we are going to do when the ground thaws is we are going to run some water from the house over to the cows and put in a winter hydrant. And that way we don't have to keep going with the hoses from the house over to the cows. That would be good, yeah. I might even cover up the bottom windows if I did that too with some straw. Put some straw bales in front of the bottom windows, because that usually just gets covered with snow and we don't get any light coming in that in the winter. So I might just do that. Yeah, exactly. The one thing I really wanted to do is when we built it, I really want to extend the roof down to the ground. I think I've mentioned that in some of the videos, but I wanted to do the back wall with almost either concrete or clay or something like that, something that would suck up that thermal energy all day and then store it and release it at night. That would be I'd be so happy with that. We actually use page wire. So we've kept up to 8 pigs in our area. We normally keep 3 now. We've done 3 to 4, and then the one year we did 8 because a neighbor wanted a bunch. And we won't do that again because our area is small. But the page wire actually works fine. We've had no problems with pigs getting out to that. I think really any type of wire fence will work fine for pigs from what I've seen. The only thing you'd have to worry about is make sure it's down on the ground far enough. We had to go around with logs and put logs around the bottom of the fence because they'll push it and then basically snorkel underneath it. So as long as you block the bottom, and then that wire fence, the page wire or wire is stapled onto some wood posts that are sturdy, then you won't have any problem with them getting out at all. You can, yeah. If you do bury the fence, that does help. Like I just said, we actually took logs and put the logs along the bottom of the fence, and then put some dirt there too, because when they try and snorkel under the wire fence or scratch themselves, then they were pushing the log. So then we would just make that log so it couldn't move. So then they couldn't really push anything away. Yes, exactly. Any type of big thermal sink would be great to be able to just collect that thermal energy and then release it at night to keep it warm in there. It was always neat going in before the snow, because we go in at night sometimes just to check on stuff or that sort of stuff. And it's neat too when you go in, listen to the rain fall. But we have the concrete patio stones that go around, and just walking on those, you can feel the heat that's still in them late into the evening. It's you can really see the effect that bigger thermal sink would provide. Hey, Tracy, thanks for joining us. Have a great night, eh? We'll talk to you soon. Yeah, exactly. They can't really jump out of anything, not like the cows or the goats and that sort of stuff, but they will push their way out and they will dig their way out. Yes, thank you. If you haven't smashed that like button, do that now. Winter gear. All right. I don't have much winter gear down here. One of the things that I do have is this right here. So that is my Integral Tactical Andromeda overbag. So this right here is, well, first, Integral Tactical was a Canadian company by itself, and they made a lot of insulated gear and tents and stuff. So they made tents, jackets. They make insulated puffy socks. So if you're in your tent and you want to keep your feet warm, you can put the puffy socks on. Pants, bibs, tents, I think I said bivy bags. So this one here is an overbag. This one's designed to go over all their other sleeping bags. And what the nice thing about this is it's a little bigger. So versus the regular sleeping bags, where if you try and get in with winter boots and your bibs and jacket and all that, it's kind of tight. So using the overbag, I can get into this with my winter boots on and I still feel comfortable. I'm not tight. I'm not trying to find a spot for my feet. And it gives me probably, I think they were saying this one's good by itself at +5 degrees. So it does give you some warmth, especially if you've already got bibs and winter clothes on, winter boots on. But I've got two or three of their other sleeping bags. And the Expedition is, I think, the warm one that I have. And it goes down to -20. So very good pieces of kit there. AR Prepper Boy, good to see you. Hope you're doing awesome tonight. Patrick Cost, hope you're doing awesome too. Yes, yeah, very true. Okay, the pouches for the go bag. So I've got two style of pouches that I love using. I don't know if you actually can get the one anymore. But these ones here are Outdoor Research. So Outdoor Research is making these bags, organizing bags. That's the med kit bag there that I use. And there's two different sizes. Yeah, Outdoor Research. So there's two different sizes that I have. One's a little bigger, one's a little smaller. So depending on what you're carrying, you can organize kit in there. They've got multiple pouches, zippered compartments, pocket area, more zippers, more zippered compartments, an outside compartment as well. So for something like a med pouch, it's really handy. And then I've got one that I have as a utility pouch. So again, adding stuff in there, keeping it organized, it makes it really nice. And then the other one that I have that I use for their truck is these guys here. So these ones here are made by ATS Tactical. And I don't know if you can still get these. don't think ATS is still in business. They might be under a different name, but I can't remember. So these ones here are basically big med bags. There's a backing that goes on them too. So if you want to attach them to a molly pack, or if you want to molly them into your vehicle, something like that, they go onto the Velcro backer, and then there's a strap that comes over top and buttons. So it helps hold it onto that backer. And then it's got the handle so you can grab and go. But they just open up with the flaps here. In the bottom, what I was doing before is I take a piece of paper too and write down the contents of what's in each. So I would know, in this one, there's 2 pens, 2 pencils, 2 compasses, the survival kit, my glow sticks, Kleenex, tape, that sort of thing. And then inside, it's got some elastic straps on it too. So you can strap some stuff in there. Not everything, obviously, but there's some at the back too, where you can kind of keep a bunch of the stuff tied down. So I think I got 5 of those. They're organized by fire, fuel, utility, shelter, food, and med. And then I also have a smaller one of these that is my IFAC kit that stays beside me in the front of the truck. So where I am, I can reach down and grab it. And that keeps the tourniquets and gauze and that kind of stuff right there beside me. So that's for me. Or if I arrive on the scene and there's a bad accident, I'm first there, then at least I have some stuff that I might be able to help. Coming back up to some comments here. For the pigs, yeah, we used an electric fence, and we put the electric wire inside the page wire. However, what the pigs would do is they would actually dig and snorkel and stuff, and then push the dirt up onto the electric wire. So then it would short out, and then they'd just go over top of it and then push on the fence. So it didn't do us any good to have the electric fence. I've seen people use it, but I don't know if it's as effective as a lot of people really think it is. I think it's got to be one that they can't bury and they get used to it right away. Yeah, Outdoor Research does some great stuff. I've got a jacket, pants. I probably have some other kit by Outdoor Research, and they're a great company. Are they running ads? Are you guys watching this and seeing ads? That's not cool. What the hell? I thought they might throw ads on a replay or something, but not during the live itself. That's crazy. Snare wire. I do have snare wire. It's out in the truck and downstairs. I have a whole bunch of snare wire. I don't know if I have. Oh, do I have some? Yeah, I've got some in this kit right here. That's just a basic survival kit. And there is some snare wire in there. But usually what I'll do, I've got a whole bunch of it, is I just bought, you can go into like outdoor stores and that, and they sell little rolls, and it's actually called snare wire. And that stuff's really good. We use it out here every year to basically trap rabbits, because we're inundated by rabbits. So we'll go out, find a trail, and set up a snare. And it's great practice too for like your survival skills. But we usually find a few that we can eat during the winter, which is nice. This is kind of cool. This is the Ready Man. So it's just comes with a whole bunch of arrowheads, fishing hooks, lures. Can use a saw, spear. So one of those ultimate survival pieces of kit that if I was having to use that, I'd be in real trouble, I think. So trying to fish with non-actual fishing stuff, homemade, you're in trouble. If that's what you're having to rely on. Fishing line. Yeah, there's fishing line in there too. I usually try and replace the fishing line in my kit with firewire. It's basically the really tough fishing line. Yes. Yeah, they are. Second ad. I wonder if I can do a setting on the live. I think next live I'll have to check if I can do a setting to make sure there's no ads playing while we're talking. The good old days. Yes, that's what I think I'll do is set it up so it doesn't run any ads while you guys are watching. That's kind of brutal. So, yeah. I think you're referring to that. Yeah, that is pretty cool because it's basically like a credit card. That's the kind of size it is. Same kind of thickness. So you can easily put that in your wallet, no problem whatsoever. Slingshot. I do have one. I don't carry it for survival situations. I'm not very good with it. So I think I'd be wasting more of the ammo with it than actually being effective with it. Oh, if it's Tim's, well, at least it's kind of Canadian, right? Go to the YouTube and go to content live and then just turn it off. Let me see if... Oh, it might be in the YouTube, like going into the video on YouTube Studio. Yeah, YouTube Studio. Yeah, like you said. Helps if I actually pay attention to what's written. You can also turn off live reactions if you don't want. Okay. 11-acre property. What animal should I start with? I highly recommend getting some dual-purpose chickens. Or even any chickens, egg-laying chickens are great because you're getting the eggs almost every day. So highly recommend the egg layers. If you can get dual purpose, something like Chanticleer that we have are awesome because you don't have to worry about them getting cold. They have no comb on the top. And that's one of the big things with most of the chickens is they have the comb. So in, say, -20 weather, that comb will actually get frostbite and fall off. Don't know if it hurts them or not, but, our Chanticleers don't have that, so we don't have to worry about it. We've got the insulated coop, so they just stay in there. We don't heat it or anything like that. So a cold weather dual purpose chicken is nice. If you get some meat chickens, it's very effective, very fast, and very worthwhile money-wise. That's much cheaper than buying store-bought chicken if you're willing to put in the work and do the butchering and stuff. Feeder pigs also. If you have the room and you want to do it, feeder pigs are good because you get them in the spring, you raise them up till the fall, and then you're able to harvest them in the fall. And it's definitely cheaper than buying pork in the grocery store. Meat rabbits. Meat rabbits are extremely effective and extremely cost efficient. They provide you a ton of meat. They continue to reproduce, and they don't cost that much to house or feed. So definitely the way to go. I'd say if you have any experience whatsoever with larger animals, beef cows are good. The nice thing with cows, depending on what you're doing, is you don't have to really look after them that much. However, the upfront cost in infrastructure and purchasing them, and if something does go wrong where you need the vet or you need to run them through a chute or that sort of stuff, then it's a little more difficult versus, say, the pigs, the rabbits, the chickens, where you don't need to worry about that kind of stuff. So start with egg-laying chickens, first thing, and then either get some meat chickens or meat rabbits, and then go from there, depending on what you're feeling like. MB Heritage Farms, good to see you. Hope you're doing amazing. We'll go back up. Some comments I missed. Quail's nice, yeah. My buddy had quails. You can keep them in the house if you want, in a garage. You need a low cage because apparently they're really stupid. So if they start to fly around, they might hit their head, break their neck. So, but the eggs are nice. He would pickle the eggs. So then it's basically like a little snack with the eggs. But yeah, quail are nice too. Let's see if wool is awesome. Oh, I froze again. Wool is awesome. I love wool clothing. I've got my one wool sweater that is, what is it? Dale of Norway. And it is so warm. I love it. Even if it gets wet, it's still warm. Making you hungry. You're always hungry. Let's see what else. All right. Now we'll show you. Oh, there's some other stuff. Paracord. Always good to have paracord. That one's actually reflective, which is cool because then you can see it at night and you're not tripping over your tent or your shelter. Glow sticks. Always good to have. I keep these everywhere. So I got like green, orange, blue. Those ones are actually IR. So you can see them under night vision. Oh, that's some stuff from the med kit. Something to clean out your wounds. If you get scrapes, cuts, punctures, you want to make sure that gets clean. That is the first step in making sure your wound's not going to get infected, is make sure it is actually cleaned out really well. And then honey, raw honey straight from the bees. I swear by this now. I do have polysporin and the other stuff right there. However, when I stabbed myself in the shin when I was dressing our Highland cow, I didn't go to the hospital. I should have. It was a big puncture wound. Oh, have a good night. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Take care, eh? I cleaned out the wound and I stuck honey in it. I should have gone to the hospital and got stitches and got it looked after, but I was in the middle of doing the cow. If I had gone to the hospital, I would have been there for 6 to 8 hours. I would not have finished the cow. It would have been hanging up, and that would not be good. So I wanted to get the cow finished. So cleaned out the wound, threw some honey in it, and bandaged it up, because everyone I've talked to has always said, honey's awesome. So I threw our own honey in my wound, and my one knife went, oh, it's the butcher knife, it's upstairs, but it probably went, I want to say, a good inch deep into my leg. And I could tell that by the size of the cut in my pants. If I pushed the knife through the pants, and as it's curved, it kind of opens up the pants, I could kind of tell, okay, there's where it went to. So it was about an inch into my leg, and it healed up beautifully. So now I'm going to be carrying honey in all my med kits. I'm like, works great for that. So I'm kind of liking it. Kuni pigs. We want to get some kunis. However, we don't want to feed them through the winter. So we're still doing feeder pigs right now. And eventually, once we get a barn, then we'll probably get some pigs that'll breed and we can look after. And then that way we could sell some pigs too. But right now, until we get the barn, it's just going to be feeder pigs. So since the pandemic, I've switched over to a get home bag. Yes. My days of thinking I'm going to bug out somewhere are over. I am no longer young. I'm not in shape. So bugging out with a family is not what I would consider ideal in most circumstances. And for us, we're kind of stocked up here on the farm. So things that would force us to leave really would be fire. We've already had the forest fire behind the house. It burned about 7 acres, just about a kilometer back. However, where we're located, we have water bombers on station. So they were here almost immediately, 3 of them, and put out the fire. So once that forest fire got going, it burned 7 acres and they had it already extinguished. So we're kind of lucky in that regard. I can't really think of any other reasons why we'd leave. We're out in the country, so it's a little bit different than, say, someone that is in an apartment building or in a subdivision or in the city, that sort of thing, where you might see a lot more civil unrest in different situations. However, in my mind, looking at history, looking at different countries that have had economic collapse, had civil wars, have had corruption, had that sort of thing, I don't think there's ever been a time where people have had to really bug out. People have kind of stayed and make done with what they have. Economic collapse, people don't bug out. They start cutting hair in the streets, or shining shoes, or building their own bikes, start repairing stuff. It's like they start doing manual labor right there in front of their house or in the streets or in the garage to get by. So again, the roving bands of bad guys, we haven't really, I don't think we've seen it at all anywhere in many countries, unless we're talking kind of civil war where you have different warlords and that sort of stuff. That hasn't happened in many countries. So my feeling is the get home bag is what I want. Something where, say, we get a sun flare or somehow an EMP or something like that happens. Say there's political unrest, a riot or something, and I just want to get out from where I work, which is kind of very easy to do because I'm on the outside of the city. My goal is to get home. If you're in the city or in an apartment during that civil unrest, I don't think you'd want to bug out right away either. Staying in your apartment is probably safer than trying to go out into the streets, go through the crowds and that kind of stuff. The SHTF, world falling apart, everything's collapsed. I don't know. I don't think we've seen it in any country. So my feeling is getting home is the ideal situation. Kind of a little rant and little story time. So hungry for knowledge. I don't have much knowledge. I've got stories. Just having something staged in advance helps. I don't have anything staged anywhere. Just my truck and then my bag and that kind of stuff. I've always got stuff around me that will help me get home. So everybody loves scars. Yeah. Which story? The stabbing myself in the leg or the rant that I just went on? Ultraviolet small light flashlights. I like Phoenix flashlights, as well as Surefire and Streamlight. My Surefire was, oh, there it is right there. So this is the one I usually carry with me every day. And it's not that bright because it's an old school. It's not LED. So the disadvantage to this is the batteries spend more energy heating this up. This will produce a ton of heat. Like if I've accidentally turned this on while it's in my pocket and you're almost getting burned because this thing will heat up so much. So you can't run it that long. You've got to basically use it for a bit and turn it off. However, it's extremely effective. It's small. One of the other things I like is this tiny little headlight from Phoenix. It pops open here, and you can actually take the light out, and then you have tiny little flashlight that you can use too. So then you can run that on your head if you want for your headlight, the night headlamp. The nice thing about being in locations like ours is the snow. So the moon will actually provide quite enough light if you have to travel at night. Hiking in the winter is so easy because there is so much light. The snow reflects a lot of it. So you don't necessarily need a flashlight to move around at night in the winter. What else did I have here? I just thought of something and then I lost it. I'll come back to it. Yeah, and again, we've seen situations where cities have riots, civil unrest, that sort of thing. But again, I wouldn't say anything has done a complete meltdown. Are we going to see it? Maybe, possibly. I don't know. We haven't seen it in history yet. That's the thing. At least not that I would say is apocalyptic, SHTF, in that kind of thing. So, Urban Homesteading Channel, good to see ya. Glad you can make it. Butchering a bull, nice, awesome. Hopefully you've got enough meat to put away now. Yeah, sheltering in place is our first option. Again, there's very few things that would get us out, forest fire, that sort of thing. One of the other things that I talked about in the other video was train derailment or something like that. If you're close to a train, I have seen it where a train derails, emergency services will come in and they will force you to evacuate. Usually it can be into like a 2 kilometer area and you've got about 5 minutes to go. They're like, all right, we've got a situation, get out, go. But in that case, again, you're not bugging out. You're going to go to friends, you're going to go to family, you're going to go to a hotel. So it's not that situation where you're grabbing a pack, heading off into the woods to build a log cabin. I used to have one. I didn't, I sold it a few years ago. So I had no more use for it. I used to use it for turkey hunting and just because. Rechargeable hand warmers. So I don't have any. I used to carry the heater packets, but what I find is they would get too warm. Whereas I found if I layer properly, I take clothes off in the right order and the right, like you don't, if you're getting too hot, you don't just strip down, you start removing articles bit by bit and see how it goes. Also layering properly makes a big difference. I don't like wearing puffy stuff when I'm hiking. It's nice to keep warm when you're still, but it doesn't always breathe the best. So you want to try and regulate your body temperature as you're doing stuff. Yeah, it's funny what some people like, some people don't like. It's one of those things where if you're not used to certain situations, then it's hard to do. However, a lot of people can get used to it as you go along. The more time you camp, the more time you hike, the more time you spend in the bush, the more you get used to it and the more comfortable you are doing that. Yeah, exactly. Layers is the biggest thing in winter, is making sure that you are not sweating. Well, you're going to sweat, but not soaking your clothes and sweating too much. And it's almost like if you're wearing too much and sweating, trying to stay warm, you're just going to make it worse. Versus if you're moving, you're maybe wear like a base layer, something like a wool top that's not heavy, so it actually breathes as well. And then maybe an outer shell or something to prevent any rain if there is some, or just as an extra wind protection, that sort of thing. And then you can always take stuff off or put stuff on if you stop, or if you're walking too fast, that sort of thing. Snowshoeing is one that really heats you up too. It takes a lot of work, and you'll start feeling the heat being produced. Minus 40 is pretty cold. It's funny because if you look at military doctrine, minus 40, no one fights technically. You're just staying warm, surviving. There's like, you shut it down. There's you're going to keep warm and do your best to keep warm. That's the main train of thought anyway, under those conditions. Moving keeps you warm. Yes. Oh, you're lucky. It can be brutal, especially if you're not prepared for it or you're not used to it. You'll find, you might get frostbite pretty quick. So, do you find yourself also welcome? Glad you could join us. Do you find yourself gravitating towards natural fibers other than your rainwear? Yeah, I really like my wool sweater, Dale in Norway. I find it really keeps me warm, even though, if it's windy, the wind goes almost right through it. But again, you keep a shell on to prevent the wind from going through it, and you're pretty good. So I prefer the natural fibers. In my sleeping bags and stuff, I've got all the artificial, like wherever I put it. Yeah, in my sleeping bags and stuff like that, then it's all the artificial stuff. But clothing, I like wool. Merino wool is nice. I've got my merino wool bottoms are really nice to wear. Oh wow, we're like an hour and a half in already. What I might do is I'll show you some kind of cool pieces of kit, and then I'll jump off. So another thing I really like for a lot of camping is my Hennessy hammock. That is comfortable. It's nice to use. It's nice to get into as well. This one's got the bug screen, the fly on top, and in the bottom, there's two different styles. You can get the zippered ones, or you can get an open one. And all you do is kind of push yourself up from the opening, and it's overlapped. So it helps keep any bugs and mosquitoes and that kind of stuff off, but gets you up off the ground too. So if it's raining, it's very nice. So that one's the zippered. I like the zippered. I trusted it a bit more than having kind of an opening that I climbed into. Grab this here. Night vision. Handy to have. Also fun to use too. The kids love playing with it. So it's just handy in being able to go out without shining a flashlight, and you can kind of see where you're going. In winter too, everything's so bright that using that, you can see quite a far distance. Going ahead in the future, I want to actually grab thermal. That way, it's cool. You can also use it for, well, you can't use it legally for hunting, but in survival situations, you can. But mostly to check on the cows. We've got coyotes and fox and that around. So it's just nice when the chickens are out, when the cows are out, just to be able to go out at night and see if there is anything going around. Yeah, I definitely want to do a lot more videos. I was trying to play to the YouTube algorithm, and I thought a lot of the viewers wanted to see Highland cows and that kind of stuff, where that is something that everybody wants to see. I find that a lot of my earlier viewers and watchers and that actually want to see some of the other videos that I made before, just getting out in the woods, the camping, the kind of prepping, those kind of videos. So I'm going to start getting back into doing some more of those as well. This bad boy right here. So that is the Matt Bach Amphibian. So what it combines is your water and air. So it's got your little mouthpiece. Inside is your air bottle. So that gives you a few minutes of air. And then also inside is the hydration. So that'll carry 2 liters of water and then a couple minutes of air. Basically, it was designed for helicopter crash. So if you are in a helicopter, it goes into the water. It gives you enough air to be able to evac the helicopter. It's kind of a neat piece of kit. Not everybody needs, but I was selling them, so I kept one for myself. Gerber Light. This is on the back of my pack. This one's pretty neat too because it has the red, white, covert, or sorry, not covert. That's the NVIS. So it's a low light. It can be used compatibly with night vision, but it also shows up maps, true color. So instead of white light where red light where it kind of messes up your map, that you can see maps properly. And then that one is your covert. So that one's IR light. That's some of the cool stuff I got. Compass as well. Oh, here's something too for your get home bag. So I keep this wrapped with the compass. So I got good Sunto compass there. That's some weaving that Bridget does, that my wife does. And I keep it in the get home bag too. It's just something to remind me of home. Something that in a situation where you need to get home, times might be tough, you might be suffering. Having something reminding you of home to get home is a very good option. So whether you carry a picture, a ring, some jewelry, something like that, just some small thing that reminds you of home is a very good option. There was a great story of a guy out in BC who was attacked by a bear. He was going out, I forget what he was doing, hunting or something, but he got mauled, and basically his face was torn apart, back of his skull was crushed. I forget what else the bear did to him. It beat him up bad, and he was losing blood. He fell down into a ditch, so his face was not only torn off, but filled with mud too. But I believe he had a picture of his daughter or something like that. And nope, sorry. It was a song in his head. He kept singing, I think it was Baby Shark or something, because his daughter always sang Baby Shark. I'll have to rewatch the video, but it was some sort of song like that, Baby Shark, where all he did was sing that over and over again in his head to remind him of her and home. So it basically gave him the motivation to keep going. Yep, exactly. Just something, anything that you can hold on to, that you can keep, just to help you keep going. So guys, I think I'm going to call it a night. I really appreciate you guys coming out. Food Forest Permaculture, good to see you. Glad you could join us. I'm actually just jumping out. We were going through a bunch of kit and gear and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for tonight. I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you so much. Yeah, so the video, me tearing apart my get home bag, I'm going to try and get out tomorrow or this weekend. And it kind of goes through more of what I've got in the bag. And then there'll be more videos coming out as well. And then I got to do the medical video where my buddies gave me the medical code for not only gear, but training. So I love gear. I'm a gear whore, but training is more important than gear. So with that said, thanks again, guys. And we'll definitely talk to you soon. Take care, everyone. Have a great night.